Here's the third set of problems from the first set. This is about the place value system. So when we look at a problem like this where we have decimals, first thing you want to think is, well, what is the number and what is telling us you might think the denominator, right? So remember, decimals are just really fractions that have tenths or hundredths or thousandths as your denominator. So we have 4, and what are they? Tenths. We have 41, and what are they? Hundredths. We have 411, and what are they? Thousandths. So let's write that. How would we write that? So 4 tenths, 0.4, 41 hundredths, 0.41, 411 thousandths, 0.411. And the easiest way to compare them is to think, well, if I have 4 tenths but nothing else, that means I have 0 hundredths and 0 thousandths. If I have 41 hundredths, that means I have 0 thousandths. And now it's easy to compare them, and you say, well, this one they all have 4 tenths, but this one doesn't have any hundredths, so it can't be this one. Okay, these both have 1/100th, but this one has 0 thousandths and this one has 1. Next we want to round, and when you see a problem like this, you're going to have to round 6 different times. So round to the nearest millionth. Well, let's look what we have. We have tenths, hundredths, thousandths, 10 thousandths, 100 thousandths, millions, 10 millionths. So to round to the nearest millionth, we look at the 10 millionths and say 5 to the sky, so we'll round up to the next one, 4 to the floor. 5 to the sky, 4 to the floor, as Miss Mary Bogdanovich used to say. Okay? And so really what we're saying is that we're either going to round up, so what would that mean with a 9 there? Well, that would mean that we're going to actually add 1 to the 9 and we'll go to the next one. So that would be 0.172839840. Okay, so we round it up. Now to the nearest 100,000th, well, so then we'll look at the last thing, which is the millionths, the last thing before the 100,000. So we have this here. So we got 172,839. So what do we have? We have tenths, hundredths, thousandths, 10,000, 100,000s, millions. So we look at this guy. So we're either going to stay 3 or we're going to go up to 4. Well, with a 9 here, that's more than 5, so we're going to go up to 4. Okay? So let's write that. So it's 0.17284. Next, we'll go to the nearest 10,000th. Let's see what we have to start with. So we have 0.17 hundredths, 8 thousandths, sorry, so 2 thousandths, 8 10,000ths, 300 thousandths. So we look at this 3 and we say, that's 4 or less, so we just get rid of it. Okay, and we're going to leave the 8. So we don't go up, we just leave the 8. So 0.1728. So 1,728, 10 thousandths. How about to the nearest thousandth? Well, to the nearest thousandth, we look at that 8 10 thousandths, we say, oh, we're going to go up. So we then say, oh, 0.173. How about to the nearest hundredth? Okay, so to go to the nearest hundredth, we have a tenth, 7 hundredths, and 2 thousandths. So we're going to get rid of that, and we don't go up, so we'll have 17 hundredths. And finally, to the nearest tenth, well, if we have a tenth and 7 hundredths, we go up because of the 7, so we're going to go to 2 tenths. So we have 2 tenths there. So we need to write a number between 1 and 10. Okay, so it'll be 3, and in this case, we need hundred thousandths, but just remember, the digits stay together. You're just moving the decimal place. So we have 3 zeros and a 1. So 100 thousandths you get with 5 zeros, so it's 10 to the 5th. Okay, and as you do that, so when you multiply by 10 to the 5th, you're going to move the decimal point over 5. So what would happen here? You go 1, 2, 3, 4. And then a 5th time, and that would be the 0, and that would get you back to that number. So in the blue you see it 3.0001 times 10 to the 5th. Well, how about 1,234? So we say it's 1 and 234 thousandths, but we need to multiply by 1,000 to get back to our original number, 10 to the 3rd. 50,000 is easy, so it's just a 5. And how do we get 10 thousandths? Well, that's 4 zeros, so it's 5 times 10 to the 4th. 219, we're going to move the decimal point over 2, so we'll have to multiply back to get back to that number, so it's 2.19 times 10 to the 2nd. Finally, 77, well, that's just 7.7 times 10, but we'll be consistent, we'll say that's 10 to the 1st power. So this is one of the trickier problems. So we're going to write down the number that corresponds to this one, but we're going to write down the number that's 1/10 as big. So first let's write the number. So it's 30,000, 3 10,000s, and 5 1,000s. So it's 35,000, and then it's 9 hundreds, 5 10s, and 6 1s. So it's 956. 35,956. And now we have the decimal part. So it's 7 tenths, 9 hundredths, and 7 thousandths. So it's 0.797. Well, what's 1/10 as big as this? So we're going to divide by 10, and we'll just move the decimal point over 1. So let's write our answer as, so we have 35956, but our decimal point now goes between the 5 and the 6, 797. So where before we had 35,956, now we have 3,595. So don't forget, if it says 1/10 is big, you'll have to move the decimal place over 1 to the left. Okay. Now if we look at the next one, how many times bigger is the digit 8 in this number, 583,000, than the 8 in 362,508? Well, the 8 here stands for 80,000. And the 8 here stands for just 8. Well, what do we have to multiply by to get from 8 to 80,000? Well, 80,000 is 8 times 10,000. Okay, so it's 10,000 times greater.